Now, in just under 100 days, the French city of Paris will welcome the world's top athletes for the Olympic and Paralympic Games. For elite athletes across the world, the Olympics are the ultimate test and present an opportunity to benchmark themselves against the world's very best. Now, the journey towards the pinnacle event often involves great sacrifice and dedication in the quest for the ultimate prize, that being a medal and a place on the podium. In the lead up to Paris 2024, every Thursday, we are in conversations with South Africa's OPEX athletes who harbor hopes of being part of Team SA for Paris 2024. And joining us this week is visually impaired para-athlete Jaco Smit to share how he's gearing up ahead of the Games. Jaco, thank you so much for making time for us and welcome to the AM Report.
Good morning. Welcome, Andee.
Let's get straight into it because we are building up to Paris 2024 and every Thursday we have a conversation to get to know the athletes a bit better, but of course look ahead to your preparation. So before we get on to the Olympics bit, maybe just to take a step back from, Jaco and the reasons why you went into para-athletics to begin with.
Yes, I come from a small town called Newzroom. It's a small town in the Eastern Cape, and growing up for me it was a big challenge, especially as a visually impaired person. I went to a mainstream school and it was very difficult. So my whole life, actually, I was competing against able-bodied athletes and I was very competitive. And as time went by, I had to choose whether I want to do cricket, rugby or soccer, because as I grew older, my vision began to deteriorate. For me to spot the cricket ball. So ultimately I chose to do athletics, and fast forward, I joined para-athletics in 2014, and 10 years later I will make my debut at the Paralympics. So it was a very challenging journey, but they said person who endure will ultimately win the race.
And endure you did, because at the very young age of 7, you were diagnosed officially with your visual impairment condition. How did that change your life at that stage and perhaps shape the journey that you now find yourself on, where you've qualified for the Paralympics in Paris?
Yeah, I always had a dream of becoming a Paralympian one day, but I never knew how I was going to get there, because where I came from, disability isn't a big thing in my town, so nobody knew. But I eventually get into contact with the SASPD board, and they introduced me to the sport. But like I said, in school it was very challenging, especially being in a mainstream school, and there was lots of bullying going with it. So I had to endure all those type of things. But at the end of the day, it's we as para-athletes, we always need to show that we can do it, because there's a lot of discrimination out there, especially among people with disability. So every time when you do something, you have to go the extra mile to show people that you can do it. So for me, it became a norm, if I can put it that way, because I know I have to show myself every single day to show people that I can do it.
And speaking of, the norm, you were initially competing with able-bodied athletes and made the switch in 2013 to go into the disabled categories. What was the reason for that? And perhaps how was it transitioning from that end to now where you're competing with para-athletes rather? Yeah,
look, in able-bodied athletes, it was always like the average type of time that you get there, and every now and then I will win a medal at the Eastern Province Provincial Able-Body Trials. So like this year I came fourth in the 100 meters, but the transition was easy for me because finally it feels like now I am where I belong. The playing ground is even. So once I started to run with other visually impaired guys, it felt like this is where I belong, because now the playing ground is equal now.
Well, let's switch our focus then to the journey that lies ahead for you now. You've qualified for Paris. What is the roadmap looking like in terms of what you'd like to achieve now in the time that you have less than 100 days now to go until Paris 2024? What are you hoping to achieve in this time as you prepare for the Games?
For me, currently, I'm preparing myself now for the Paralympics, and we are planning on having a European competitions, European camps. So yeah, the main thing now is first to get ourselves ready and race fit for Paris. And like last year, I went to the finals for the first time at World Champs, and it was a big thing for me because I haven't made a final. It was my second World Champs, and I haven't made a finals. So now that I've made that finals, now the goal can shift to winning a medal at Paralympics. So that is the ultimate goal, to get a medal at the Paralympics.
Do you feel that you're perhaps peaking at the right time, or you're finding your trajectory that is aligned with now competing in Paris 2024 to be peaking at the exact right time? Because you ran a qualification time, or rather an impressive time, at 11.04 in Bloemfontein earlier this year, and you mentioned again that you got to the final of the World Paralympics Games last year in 2023.
Sorry, I missed the question.
Do you feel that you've set yourself up and you're peaking at the right time now with the recent results that you've been able to achieve?
Yes, because our preparation, the main focus wasn't the SHMs. So the main focus was always the Paralympics. So I think we are quite happy where we are now, because we haven't peaked, if I can put it that way, at SHM. So the peak is yet to come. Yeah.
Let's talk about the events then that you're going to be eyeing as you head to Paris. You previously competed in the 200 meters and the 400 meters in that T12 category. So what are you going to be competing in come Paris?
My main event will be 100 meters.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm focused. This year I'm focusing more on the 100 meters than 200 and 400, because they took away the 200 for us at Paralympics. So to train for 100 and 400 is a bit difficult. So I had to choose which one will I target. And last year's,
it does seem like we're struggling with the connection a bit there, Jaco. So I think perhaps it's a good time to thank you and wish you all the best for the Games. Looking forward to it. And perhaps just as we leave it then on a parting note, Jaco, we are wishing Jaco all the best going forward. And for the viewers at home who are not quite sure what the T12 category might be, that is for runners with visual impairment. So vision that's constricted to a radius of less than 5 degrees, and or the ability to recognize a moving object at a distance of 1 meter. So that is the visual impairment then category that he's going to be competing in the 100 meters in Paris.